We are here. It's developer Q&A time, everyone's favorite time, about every approximately 2 months. It's gonna be a good time. Oh, there's everyone. Welcome. Come on in. We have slow mode on as per usual because there are a lot of people here. Oh, I swear to God, when are sub elements releasing? All right. Welcome. Come on in. I hope y'all have a great time in this developer Q&A plus like showcase. It should be good. Give people a couple minutes here. Rory's gonna be streaming. Do you want to get that set up, Rory?
Yeah, I'm getting it set up right now.
Okay, let's see. Let's start answering some questions while he gets that set up. Got a lot of highs, hellos. I forgot, but is the game free? No, it is on sale right now though. $8.99, I believe. All right, next question. What is your favorite sub elements? I really like the upcoming plant sub element, but in terms of what has already come out, I'd say Blood and Explosion.
For me, definitely Explosion at the top. After that, probably Lava. I like Lava.
Yeah, they're good. Fun. I got the question, are you friends with the people who made UGG? Yeah, sorta. We know them. That's if you came from their server. We've known them for a few years before the making of UGG. They're pretty nice people.
Mm-hmm. We originally met them, at a convention in Utah, right? I was just talking to the lead developer of the company at one of Meta's events a couple months ago. So I think we know them pretty well.
Do you have any tips for becoming a VR game dev? I want to make magic-based games.
That is a big question. So I guess everyone can have a different path to becoming a game developer. But the one thing that all those paths have in common, whether you're a programmer or an artist or a game designer or a sound designer or whatever you want to be, is that those paths all require practice. You have to keep practicing the skill of developing a game or whatever part of it you're doing for years and years and years. And eventually, practice makes perfect, and you can become really good at it and, well, either join a company or start one and get your games out there. But the key is to start practicing now. Just make something simple, see what you can do, and have fun.
Yeah. Did you expect the game to grow this big? I think we hoped it would grow this big and continues to grow more. I'm glad we have so many people in this community right now. I think we just passed 6,000 members. It's great. Even with slow mode, you guys are posting a lot. All right. You. Yeah. Rory, why don't you get the stream going so we can show people what they're really looking for?
All right. And the thing I have to show off specifically is going to be some previews of upcoming sub-elements, as well as some new maps. I figure that we'll get a lot of questions about what are the details of the new sub-elements that are going to be added. So, hey, to answer all of those questions now, why not just show them? Right. So my VR headset was just connected. Hopefully it will still be connected. I believe in your VR. And, all right. Mac, is my stream working?
Still waiting on it to load. I've got the okay, I aired out on my end. Let's see. It says stream failed to start, error 212.
Ooh, that's not good. Let's take a look at Discord. Huh. Tells me it's running.
I've got an error on at least 2 computers and at least 1 person, 2 people in chat. So I'd try restarting it.
Sure. Give me a second. I'm currently in VR, controlling my computer. Let's try again. Share my entire screen. Here. And back to Unity. All right. Listening better?
I got it. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that's working.
Let's just make sure my graphics settings are right. Yeah, let's turn on a streamer camera. All right. This clear for everyone?
It's good to me. Other people in chat say it's working. Looks like it's good.
All right. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to show off some of the upcoming content we have. And I'll start off with the thing that I'm guessing most people are going to be excited by, which are the 4 new sub-elements that are coming soon. And those are going to be metal, plants, lightning, and storm. Suppose let's go in order, starting with metal. So yeah, in the same way that lava is kind of like a slower, heavier version of Earth, metal is a lighter and faster version of Earth. It's all about mobility and quicker attacks. So a lot of its moves use kind of a metal shard attack. If I just hold my trigger in the air, I summon a metal shard, like a metal blade type thing, which I can then throw at targets. It doesn't do quite as much damage as a boulder, but it is faster and easier to summon. You don't have to be next to the ground, that kind of stuff. You can do a lot with these shards. For example, you can grab a shard, pull it into your hand, and instead of an earth hand, you get one of these blades. And throw that for a bit more damage. If you hold both of your hands close together, instead of the earth hammer, you start charging up a ball of liquid metal, which you can then punch forward to shoot a shard out of. So you can rapid fire a bunch of shards, or if you throw it forward, it sends out a hail of 3 shards at once. Or you can tap grip and split it into 2 shards. And yeah, metal also says that if you hold a bar of liquid metal and move your hands apart, you summon metal armor over yourself. So while the base earth armor is, slow and heavy, it protects you, but it also slows you down. Metal, to be distinct and interesting compared to that, actually speeds you up. You can imagine that as
lag on the stream.
Oh, lag. That is unfortunate. Let's see. I don't know if changing my quality is going to affect anything, but I might as well try. Should I try streaming at a different resolution?
I think it's good now. I think it's because you were loading in new areas, like you're moving off the stage.
Yeah, okay. I'll try to move around a bit less. Yeah. I was saying, the metal armor, to be distinct from the earth armor, instead of slowing you down, actually speeds you up while you're using it. It's kind of like a power armor you could think of around yourself, made of metal, so that you're controlling the metal while it's also on you to move around more quickly. I'm walking a lot faster than I normally am right now. And it protects you a little bit, but the downside is that if the armor breaks while you're wearing it, then you get a debuff for a bit, as, well, the shards of metal are then slowing you down instead of speeding up. So yeah, I think that's metal's moves. I almost forgot. The metal whips. These are kind of like the water tentacles mixed with the water grapple, but made of metal. So you summon them the same way as the water tentacles. Hold your hands up, press both triggers, and then you can hold grip to send them out to grab onto things. They have a pretty long reach, and they'll reel you in pretty quickly towards whatever you grab, or they'll reel your target in towards you. They don't do damage directly. Like the water grapple, they're really meant for mobility and grabbing onto things. But they are very fast and flexible, and they can kind of grab onto any target from any distance. Yeah. So they do have different physics than the water tentacles. They're less about jumping and leaping, and they're more about pulling you towards a target, kind of like the water grapples. All right. I think those are all the moves for metal. But before I move on to the next set of elements, I should probably answer some questions people have about metal. Is there anything in chat?
How long does the metal armor last?
It has mostly an unlimited duration. If it starts to run out, then you can just refresh it. Instead, it's limited by its health. If you take about, I think it's 2 bars of damage right now with the metal armor on, that will shatter it. So it doesn't have a time duration, but it is fragile.
All right. Wasn't the idea for metal supposed to be more precise for more damage?
Yes, metal is somewhat about precision. I'd say more speed than precision, but the precision is supposed to matter. It's got a lot of fast projectile attacks that, well, you have to actually hit. And I'd say that the armor is partially related to that. It's a powerful buff while it's out, but you have to be, I guess, precise and nimble in a way to not get it immediately broken off of you.
All right. Which moves other than the metal exclusives can you do while metal is equipped?
Most of them. So the ones that are disabled are going to be the Earth Armor, the Ground Slam, and the Earth Hammer. The rest of the moves function as normal. So you've still got boulders, spears, saws, and the lady. Wow, what did I get? Elite Earth. Let's go. You can still do Earth walls, of course, including both small walls and large walls. And yeah, you've got the Earth spikes as well as the Earth trap. And while lava says that charging up moves takes longer as its downside, metal does not have that downside. Your moves are just as effective as base Earth.
Do the metal grapples just stay out when you hold grip, or is it out then come back in?
I'm holding grip and it just stays out. So while I'm holding grip, it's like a very, very long tentacle. I can move it inwards, or I can reach out to grab farther away things. So you can see I'm not quite grabbing the tree, and I can reach out and grab that tree over there.
Does anyone have, I see multiple people are typing, more metal questions. Probably answer 1 or 2 more and then move on to the next one. What happens when you grab your wall with the whip?
That's a great question. I probably should have tested this. Oh, I guess I can't. Yep, it can.
Cool.
I might want to change that though. One thing I forgot to mention at the start of this is that while these sub-elements are close to final, they're not actually final. If they were actually final, they'd be out yet. So in part based on the feedback of today, as well as feedback that we get from beta testing, we are going to keep polishing and improving these sub-elements before they actually release. So if you have notes like, oh, maybe the metal whip should really be able to grab the earth wall, please let us know.
I've got one more metal one. Do the metal whips reel people in faster compared to water, and how strong?
I think, yes, they're going to be maybe about twice as strong as the water grapples in terms of reeling in. Maybe not quite as strong as the water tentacles, but stronger than the grapples.
All right. There's one more. Are you able to throw other players with metal whip? I think the answer is yes, isn't it?
Kind of, but not as effectively as with the tentacles. The whips are very good at reeling things in, but they're not as good at throwing or sideways motions.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right. Do you want to go in order, or do people want to vote for something else?
Sure. Let's do a quick poll. Do you want plant, lightning, or storm? I am seeing a lot for plant. Let's go plant.
All right, plant. Plants are a fun one. So, with plant, your coolest new move is probably the vine trail. To do that, you reach into the ground and you charge up, and then you get this plant summoning effect. Lift up with one hand, and you get the vine trail. So I can just drag this guy around, and he'll leave a whole trail of lava behind him. Kind of like the ice trail, but made of vines. And I can stand on it. So, I can also throw it, and it will make large arcs through the air. And then I can kind of just wander along these arcs. It does break eventually. Also, if I pull it out and then I stand on the very end of the trail, I can ride it around. Not forever, it does stop you eventually, but you can ride it a decent distance. Also, you might notice that the trail is covered in spikes. If something runs into those spikes, it takes damage. See? Bar off. So it's not only an attack that you can throw at enemies, but it also covers the entire map in dangerous terrain that your opponents want to avoid. And you can throw as many of these vine trails as you want, but they do eventually despawn. You can also, while you have one out, tap grip, and it shoots a spike. Not a ton of damage, but useful as like a secondary option or ranged attack. Alright. Yeah, I like creating these trails. They're fun. Now, if I do the same thing, and I start summoning plants out of the ground, but I lift up with both hands instead of one, instead of the vine trail, I get a plant turret. So this is a living plant that will face enemies and will automatically shoot spikes at them. It doesn't have perfect aim, and its attack speed is only moderate, but it will constantly swivel to try to hit whatever targets it can reach. It has a limited time and does despawn eventually. Also, they used to be a bit overpowered in that you could just spawn as many as you want, but they have since been nerfed. You can only have one plant turret at a time. So you can no longer cover the entire map in plant turrets to just obliterate all your enemies. Fun while it lasted, a little bit too powerful that way though. Yeah, the turret is not really a strong aggressive option, but it's maybe something that you would keep as a backup or as a tool to harass your enemies and kind of keep them distracted while you're also hitting them with other attacks. And the turret can be killed if it is hit with a powerful enough attack. And I believe each of its shots do 2 bars of health. Next plant move, we have the poison bombs. So these guys are summoned just like the water daggers, and you can throw them like the water daggers, but they stick to whatever they hit and then explode. That includes sticking to enemies, or it includes sticking to the ground. So if as soon as an enemy gets near that guy, if I put him on the ground, oops, if I can actually hit, there we go. So you can spam these guys all over the ground to kind of lay traps or landmines for any enemies that approach. So altogether, you have fields of poison spikes. You have turrets that will attack anything that comes close, and you have landmines. So Plant is very good at controlling an area and kind of being like a defensive zoner type playstyle. Let's see, I think those are all the plant moves. Matt, am I forgetting any here? The vine growth, poison needles, the turrets, and spore bombs.
Don't think so.
All right.
Oh, tentacles. Oh, you didn't show the tentacles.
Oh, of course. I'm forgetting all the tentacle type moves now. Yes, instead of the water tentacles, we got vine tentacles. These are kind of like the water tentacles. They're actually very similar to the water tentacles, but they have a couple key differences. First, when you hold grip, they extend and they grow longer. So they shrink back once you grab onto something. So you're not holding onto something at a massive distance. But you can more easily grab onto a distant target with them. To balance that strength out, they are slower than the water tentacles. And while you have them out, you will be slowed down. They are much better at grabbing onto things and moving things than the water tentacles, but they are worse at moving yourself. So if you grab onto a player with the vine tentacles, you can reel in that player and throw them around with a lot more force than you can with the water tentacles. And just like the water tentacles, if you hold still and stretch them up, you get more of them. You can be a giant vine monster.
We're going to the swamp bender.
Well, I don't know what you mean. What's that? Right, yeah. Any questions about plants?
Is the one that's... Do the projectiles of that plant have a lock-on, or do they go in a straight line when shot? I assume this is in reference to the plant turret.
So the ones on the vine growth come out of the head of the vine. They, will mostly just go whichever way that's facing. The ones that come out of the plant turret are whichever way the turret's head is facing. So if the turret gets kind of pushed off to the side by a move or something, like if I do this and I kind of bully it off to the side, it will start shooting in a different direction. But it will reorient itself to aim at the nearest target whenever it can.
I may severely regret this since I don't know how strong it is without playing it, but could we increase the amount of spawnable turrets? The meme strats would be brilliant. You die really fast. It's kind of bad for a couple of reasons. One being, it's a lot of damage. You can just put a few of these up and then no one can really get near you. But it's also bad because if there's more than one person playing plant in a lobby, like, if you can only put one up, then there can only be a maximum of 8 turrets at any given time, which is already still a lot if you're in a free-for-all match and there's 7 turrets shooting at you. But imagine if you could do 2. Now there's 16 turrets, or 3, and now there's, it makes it kind of impossible to play. I can't say we'll never change it, but it's probably unlikely, because we did have it before and it was kind of bad. I mean, it was funny, but it's kind of bad.
We did a developer playtest, and then like 3 people on the team all chose plant, and we all stood in the hub area and they just spammed plant, and there was nothing but plant turrets around here. You could not see any of the UI screens because it was just all covered with plant turrets that were all just instantly going through whenever you would spawn.
Yeah, because you put a bunch in spawn area, you just die the second you respawn, unless you turn off your combat hub world.
Mm-hmm. If we can find a way to balance it, we could add it back. But we'd have to find that balance.
Would plants eventually get something like a poison debuff, like damage over time?
I can see that working out. It would probably fit these spore explosion moves as well as also these needles. Right now, focusing on just, I guess, like the core mechanics first before the poison, if that makes sense. Like, if a move does 2 bars of health now or 2 bars of health over the next 5 seconds, that is going to mostly work out the same in a fight. Unless your enemy's going to die in the next 5 seconds, then it's a bit different. But if it's a popular suggestion, I could definitely see adding that, because it wouldn't affect the balance too much and it would be a pretty cool effect.
Like before, what moves are no longer available?
So That's going to be the large water stream, because instead of a large water stream, you get the vine. And instead of a large wave, you get the plant turret. You still do have small water streams, and you still have small waves. You just don't have the large versions. The water daggers don't exist, because the water daggers are replaced by these. And the water tentacles don't exist, because the water tentacles are replaced by the vine tentacles.
And the sticky bombs we put on movable objects such as ice walls.
Yes, with restrictions. The way that ended up getting balanced is that if I have an ice wall that I'm not holding onto, then yeah, I can stick things on it. However, if I then move the ice wall, they fall off. The reason why it's implemented this way is because if they didn't fall off, there'd be nothing stopping me from taking an ice wall, spamming, I don't know, 30 or so of these projectiles on it, and then just taking the ice wall and using that as like a projectile to one-shot anyone it touches, which would be cool, but which would also be unbalanced. So this is something that could be changed later if we find another way to make that balance instead, but I don't want people to have to worry about getting one shot by a projectile with a bunch of hidden mines on it.
What's the might of the vine trail, and how long do the plant landmines last?
So this vine trail has a might of 4, does 4 bars of damage. The landmines last 10 or 20 seconds. I don't remember the exact duration off the top of my head, but we can count. Wait, let's put 1, 2, 3, and keep the count going. Any more questions?
Let's see. Does the turret have a silly little name?
It really needs one. I don't have one for it right now, but we should make a poll for what to name the turret, and then that will be its official name.
You should make it so that when you charge the tentacles, they're covered in thorns.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And maybe they do more damage when they're charged. Yeah, we'd have to figure out some of the graphics, but yeah, that sounds fun. I like that.
Can the bombs and turrets be put on ice walls?
So the turrets can only come out of the ground. If I summon an ice wall, then I can't pull a turret out of the ice wall. I can just move the ice wall around. While the bombs can be put on ice walls, but again, if you move the ice wall, they fall off.
What's the turret HP?
I believe it's got 3 or 4 durability, so a move that does 3 or 4 damage should be able to destroy it.
Can you hold the input to spawn a plant bomb and stand next to a dummy?
Yep, it does not explode. Only when you drop the bomb does it actually go off.
And that was something we had to fix, because I remember very clearly being like, yeah, it's kind of a problem if I just spawn this and I'm standing next to someone, I start exploding. The people demand 1,000 turrets.
Look, 1,000 turrets are fun to use, but imagine being on the receiving end of 1,000 turrets. It's a little bit less fun to be shot by 1,000 needles at once.
Maybe making that big turret a charged plant turret and allow smaller, weaker, uncharged turrets?
Maybe. Kind of keeping this input, and the uncharged version of that would replace the small wave. And I don't really want to get rid of the wave because the wave is cool. But maybe there's another button that we could use instead. And yeah, the small uncharged turrets would have to be a pretty small range or they would get overwhelming. And then if they're very small range and you can spam a lot of them, they end up not being that different than the bombs, which are also small range things that damage anything near them. It's not impossible to have smaller turrets. There's just some balance issues that need to be figured out.
Can you put bombs on the end of a vine?
It should behave similarly to the ice wall, where you can put it on a vine that you're not grabbing. So if I throw this and then put it on a vine... Oh wait, it's actually just destroying my vines. Okay. Apparently no, it will just destroy your vines. And it won't stick to a vine you're grabbing because the bombs don't stick to anything that is being grabbed.
There was some mention of, what if you put a bunch of bombs on the ice wall and then pull it towards you rather than pushing it away?
Then I believe the wall will push the bombs. Let's confirm. Yeah, it kind of throws them a bit, but I have to do it quickly.
How long does the turret shoot for, and how long is its range?
So here it's within range. Here it's within range. Here it's not within range. And it lasts for 10 to 20 seconds. I don't remember the exact number. But if you start counting 2, 3, 4, and keep that up, then you can count the time.
Alright. 2 more. Do bots target turrets? And if they do they target it instead of players?
No, bots do not target turrets. They will ignore them. However, if their attacks do hit a turret, because you like to try to use a turret as cover, their attacks will damage the turret.
Alright. And then the last one was, when you did that thing with the ice wall and the plant bombs, what made the plant bombs explode when you pulled the ice wall towards you?
That is a great question, and I don't really know.
It's fine.
So let me try again. Because oh, you know what I think is happening? The wall is hitting the bombs fast enough to destroy them. And I think the fact that they're getting hit by a powerful thing is telling them, oh wait, I just got smacked. That's exploding.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one.
Wait, 1 second. I can't find it. Okay. I guess lightning next. Let's just go in order.
Yeah.
Lightning. Lightning's fun. Okay. So with lightning, your main new move is the lightning blast. So how it works is you hold both your hands together, and it starts charging up lightning. And then, if you punch your hand forward, boom, it does a blast. So this is a very fast attack. It's hit scan, which means it's hard to dodge. But at the same time, it's also got a very small hitbox. So you have to aim it precisely. And yeah, it's not something that you can spam infinitely quickly because the lightning has a bit of a charge up time. It's harder to see here. It's easier to see in VR when you can feel the haptics, but there's actually 2 charges here. There's this first charge, and that first charge is what actually lets me use any moves at all. And then there's the second charge, which is the same as all of the other charges in fire, which makes it a more powerful version of lightning. So the more powerful lightning does it's 5 bars. Right, 5 bars on hit with the more powerful lightning. While the less powerful lightning does only 3 bars. The more powerful lightning also has much longer range. So yeah, this move lets you stay at a medium distance from enemies and just constantly harass them with lightning bolts. And if you're good at aiming, which is a big if, then you can deal a lot of consistent damage that's hard for your opponents to dodge. On the other hand, the hitbox is really small here, so you've got to be great at aiming if you want to actually be consistent about it. On these static targets, I can hit it most of the time, but against a moving enemy, it's going to be a lot harder. And for the more powerful charge lightning, well, I'm spending a lot of time charging attacks, and I would have to be dodging in the middle of that to not just die. So that's the first move, the lightning blast. Next up, the lightning orb. If I start charging up lightning, and then I spread my hands apart, I get this orb that charges into a big orb. I can throw it, and it passes through enemies, and it bounces off of walls. It does a lot of damage if it hits. It just keeps bouncing. So it's kind of like the fire orb, except it's a lot slower. It's always moving. It actually speeds up on its own over time. And yeah, it doesn't die when it hits something. So powerful zoning tool, but also relatively easy to dodge. And while the charged version does a lot of damage, the uncharged version only does a few bars. Lastly, for the two-handed lightning moves, is if I'm holding this and I tap a grip, then it does a cone of lightning. The cone of lightning does a burst of initial damage, but then also some extra damage over time if you keep it on the end. The uncharged version of the cone just goes out and then stops after half a second. The charged version of the cone goes out and then stays around, and you can kind of move it back and forth. And yeah, that's the lightning cone or lightning power move. I need a better name for it. If anyone has a good name suggestion, please let me know. Lightning has one more move to show off, which replaces the fire dagger and fire javelin. You hold a firebolt and tap grip. You get a lightning bolt in your hand. You can take the lightning bolt and throw it. I missed. You can take the lightning bolt and throw it, and if you hit, boom, calls down a lightning strike from the sky as it explodes. It's a little bit harder to aim than the normal firebolt, but it also does a little bit more damage. Basic, simple lightning projectile attack. And yeah, you can throw it pretty far if you want. If I throw the charged version, then after a few seconds you'll see that lands, boom, lightning explosion in the distance. Alright, and because I know someone's going to ask this, the moves that lightning cannot use are going to be the fire dagger and fire javelin, because it got replaced with a lightning bolt. And it can't use the any of the two-handed fire moves that start with your hands close together. And those are going to be the fire blast, the fire orb, the fire bow, the fire shield, and the fire laser. Right. Questions?
What can the cone of lightning block?
It can block just about everything.
Problem.
So it has a might of 4, which means that the only things that it isn't going to block are things with 5 or more durability. Those are going to be large earth walls. Those are going to be like charged fire arrows, charged fire orbs, and I think a large ice wall. Similarly powerful things, but it will block pretty much everything else. Now, while it does have a fairly big area, it does also take time to charge. And if you want the continuous version that lasts for a while, that takes even more time to charge. So it's not like you'll be able to have this out continuously in front of you forever.
Does it work if the enemy is standing underneath a structure?
Wait, which thing work if the enemy is underneath the structure?
I assume that's referring to tossing a lightning dagger that puts off, it strikes lightning down, but the structure would block it or not block it.
The structure does not block it. The lightning coming from above is more of a visual effect than a mechanical one.
I saw how you used a lightning fist and a fire fist thing. How do you use them both? Aren't they both trigger?
Oh, this move?
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah. I am tapping grip to change it from fire to lightning or back. So in the same way that with the normal fire move, if you hold the fire and then you tap grip, you get a fire dagger, or you get a fire javelin. With lightning, instead of getting the fire dagger or fire javelin, you get the lightning bolt.
Will the orb bounce off of earth walls or break them?
I believe it will break earth walls and won't bounce off of them. Oh, that needs testing. There's so many moves in the game. There's like over 100 moves right now. So the exact interaction between every two pairs of moves would be 100 times 100 or 10,000 interactions to test. So I wish I could have an answer to every interaction, but sometimes there's going to be things that surprise even me.
A couple suggests. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Yeah. I also think that weird interactions like that are an opportunity for you guys to find unique strategies, because 10,000 different interactions is so many that if you keep exploring them, eventually you'll find an interaction that you were the first person to discover. So yeah, kind of opportunities for unique text there.
A few different suggestions to call the lightning cone the lightning vortex.
Solid. Yeah, I like that. Until I hear a better suggestion, this is now officially the lightning vortex.
Will lightning have any moves that can self-knock back besides charge firebolt?
Self-knock back besides charge firebolt. Well, it's got this, and depending on what you mean by self-knockback, it does still have the flamethrowers, which you can use to fly around, and it does still have the fire leap, which you can also use to fly around. So yeah. This version of lightning is more of a kind of sniper type class. It's about powerful charged attacks that can instantly hit enemies. And its weakness compared to fire is that it is losing out on some ability from things like the fire blast.
If the lightning orb is hit with another move, will it be destroyed or change the direction? And I assume the answer is it will be destroyed if it's powerful enough to be destroyed, or otherwise
That's correct.
nothing.
Yes. It will take something pretty powerful to destroy the lightning orb. Things like actually, can it be destroyed? It's been a little bit since I implemented this, but it might be that it just can't be destroyed. Yeah, I'll need to test that. Sorry.
I feel like there should be a movement ability for lightning, given the fact that it's super fast. Maybe change the fire hover move to a jolt upward.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree. See, lightning has a bunch of different parts to its identity. Like you said, lightning is something that is kind of fast and instant, and in a way, you might expect someone who can manipulate lightning to also be like lightning themselves. I can control lightning, and therefore I am lightning, so I am also able to move instantly. But the approach I took for it is less that I am lightning, so I can move instantly, and more like I can throw lightning, and the lightning that I throw can move instantly. So yeah, these projectiles are faster than fire's normal projectiles, or in the case of the lightning blast, literally just instant. And yeah, I was worried about if lightning has both fast, instant, and very powerful projectiles, and then it also has instant mobility that lets it dash or teleport places, that might make it a bit too powerful. So I decided to focus on just the attacks and thus the mobility, to make the attacks as cool as they could be without being overpowered.
Scrolling down, looking through. Because people are gonna ask. We gotta get Scopy back up. Okay, come back down. It was, here we go. Can another lightning bender deflect a lightning bolt? No, I know what you're talking about. Avatar's really cool that you could just, they do the thing and then they just don't get struck by lightning. I don't even know how we would do that in this game.
You can parry a lightning bolt. That counts.
Parry it. Yeah, but no, there's none of the moves really have direct interactions like that with each other anyway. Like, yeah, like water on lava doesn't make it turn to obsidian. Like, there's already 100 moves, like you said, 10,000 potential interactions. Imagine adding even more to that. Oh, jeez. Make a lightning staff move, please. Ever since fire staff got removed, a piece of me died. Broken heart emoji.
Rest in peace, fire spear. This is kind of staff-like. You can use it as a melee weapon. Yeah, I don't know if it's quite a staff, but it's close.
Alright. Sorry if I missed this, but does lightning change the jump ability? None of the jump abilities are changed by any sub-elements, at least not currently. Alright, let's move on to Storm.
Okay, final sub-element, Storm. Storm's signature move is the Storm Aura. This replaces the air sphere. So if I hold my hands out to the sides and I press both triggers, I summon a storm around myself. Now, if I raise my hands up, I just fly upwards. Pretty far, not forever though. I can't quite reach those. And it's not just upwards, but it can fly to the side, or I can fly to the side, or I can fly over here, until I eventually run out of power. So the way that this is controlled is, while you have this out, if I'm holding down just one trigger, I hover in place. If I hold down the other trigger, then I start flying in the direction my hands go. So you can hover for almost as long as you like. You can only actually fly for a limited amount of time. So in order to make best use of the ability, you kind of want to hover above your targets and then fly to change direction when you need to. All right. While you're holding the Storm Aura, you can use various different attacks. The most direct is the Storm Blast attack, where if I grab the trigger and throw, it does a lightning strike. And I can do this with either hand. And yeah, if I ever release trigger on both hands, it releases the move. You can use either hand to throw these blasts, as long as at least one of your triggers is still down after you throw, then the move stays. So you can combine these to hover over enemies and rain down lightning blasts on them. But that's not the only move that this has. If I hold my hands together, I start charging up a Storm Bomb. And I can throw it as well. Boom. Big damage. Similar to the Air Bomb, kind of, except it's a little bit easier to charge. You can rain these down on enemies too. And this at 6 might will blast its way through pretty much any other move in the game. A very powerful burning attack. Just takes time to charge. That's not all this move can do. While I'm holding out the Storm Aura, if I tap Grip, I summon a tornado beneath myself instead. The tornado works similarly to the Storm Aura in that it's controlled based on how many triggers you're holding down. If I'm holding down just one trigger, I keep the tornado active, and I'm just kind of hovering here. I can move very slightly, but not very much. If I hold down my other trigger, then I start traveling in whichever way my hands are pointing. and I can use that to just ride the tornado around the landscape.
Tornado, my beloved.
Yes. So, I don't know how many people in the audience right now remember this, but in some very, very early versions of Elements Divided, the coolest move in the game was the air tornado move, because you can ride it around just like this. And I love that move, and I've always wanted to bring it back. And this is kind of the way that it is returning to the game, as the storm tornado that you can just ride around wherever you want.
Are you hovering over the water? Are you?
Yeah, the tornadoes can go in water.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it.
Yeah, tornadoes can go in water. They don't have to go on land.
Damn.
Pretty sure that normal air tornadoes do that too. Like, normal air tornadoes go over water fine.
Cold water's balanced.
Can people hover over the death barrier? Oh no.
I'm back. Yes. So yeah. And while I'm in this tornado form, I can also charge up these storm bombs and throw them. Oops. But if I don't charge it all the way, or if I just do this, then I throw smaller tornadoes.
You did purple.
Yep. Right now, these work pretty much the same as these are tornadoes, but they're purple, so that means they're cooler. All right. So yeah, those are Storm's new moves. It's got the Storm Aura, which just lets you fly around. These Blasts, which let you shoot lightning at things. It's got the Bomb, a charged attack. And it's got the Tornado that you can ride. And then it's also got the tornadoes you can throw while riding that tornado. Yeah, I think those are all the moves. Any questions?
Can you hover on the death barrier?
I hope not.
Go find out.
Asking the real questions here. Yeah, let's see.
That's not the right move. There you go. Takes a while to fall. Yeah, this death barrier is pretty far down. Is the answer yes?
Well.
Sorry.
Whoever asked this question, thank you for finding a bug. Very good catch.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
Okay. We got that. Next thing.
That's a bug. We will fix this before it releases.
Does Storm Bomb have the same might value as Air Bomb?
Yes, it does. The difference between it and the Air Bomb is that it does all the damage instantly, while Air Bomb creates an effect that does damage over time. The Storm Bomb is also faster to charge than the Air Bomb.
What are all the moves that get replaced by Storm?
Those are the Air Shield and everything that transitions out of it. So that is the Air Shield, the Air Vacuum, the Air Ball, the Air Drill, the Air Bomb, and the Air Laser. But things like the Sword, those still exist. So you can have a lot of movement options with like the Storm for got swords and gliding, and then this to go more, and then most of the tornado.
Can Tornado hover on player abilities like Ice Trail or walls or anything else?
I believe it can. That needs to be tested though.
Do you have concerns with having two almost identical tornado moves, that being the regular small throwable tornado and the one when you're on the big tornado?
So, yeah, concern isn't quite the right word. I don't think it's going to break the game, and I'm not worried about it in that sense. But I do feel like it is a missed opportunity. It could be more fun to play if there were more unique moves, and not moves that were similar to each other. So, yeah, this is a place where the sub-element isn't perfect and where I would like to improve it in the future. If you have ideas or suggestions for different moves that you'd like to see instead of this tornado, this small throwable tornado, I mean, please let me know.
Maybe my eyes deceived me, but did the storm aura deal damage simply holding it, just like flaming aura technique?
Yes it does. If you summon the storm around yourself and you're near an enemy, it deals damage over time. I mean, there is lightning all around me, so an enemy wouldn't want to be near that. And yeah, the tornado does the same if you position yourself just above an enemy.
That was my favorite way to kill people. Trap them in the tornado. Anyway. Let's go back up. What's your thoughts about making normal tornado launch people on the air and storm tornado be how it is now doing damage?
You mean like the air tornado would do less damage, but would instead knock people up? I think that could be cool.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the air tornado, when you charge it to be big, is one of air's more powerful damage moves. So I don't know if I want to take that away completely, but I could see air having a powerful knockback move would be pretty cool. So yeah. If that's a popular suggestion, people want the base air tornado to do less damage, but also do a lot of upwards knockback. I could see that happening. I'd be fine with that.
You could replace the small throwable storm tornado. You could throw out storm clouds that drop lightning AoE or something.
So, I mean, a storm cloud that drops lightning is pretty much what the storm bomb is. It's a cloud that, when it hits something, does a lightning effect. So, yeah, if you mean something like a cloud that periodically drops lightning from above, that is something that we considered. Yeah, it starts to look like a more powerful version of like the fire orb or the water bubble, if it is just a constant zone of lightning damage. So yeah, I don't want that to be too powerful. We also did try a bunch of different versions of Storm, and one of the early versions of Storm said that you could spam storm clouds everywhere to do big damage zones around the level, and that both lagged the game and wasn't very fun to play against. So yeah, we'd need to be a bit careful with that, but I do think it's a cool idea.
Another option may be a weaker version of the slash move the air sword does. Weaker since you would use it with one hand.
Yeah, I can see that working. Yeah.
If you spam Storm Tornado and switch to Tornado, does it take away stamina?
You spam Storm Tornado. I don't understand the question.
I am slightly confused, but does the little tornadoes use stamina? It looked like you threw a bunch of them out.
There's a limit to how fast you can throw them. They will use stamina, but I don't think they use stamina fast enough to like really cost you that much, because you can't throw them out instantly. So yeah, I am losing stamina eventually, as you can see. I just have to be really determined about stamina.
Can you charge the storm tornadoes?
No, you can't. Why are you silent?
Why not? Instead of a tornado like the normal tornado, you could hold trigger while the tornado is under you to conjure a stormy breeze that would slow down enemies and slowly drain damage in the direction of your hand.
Hold down trigger. So yeah, the control scheme means that you can't really have anything that's like a continuous effect with holding down trigger, because holding down trigger is how you move. It would have to be a kind of projectile that you can throw. So maybe there's some kind of breeze or blast projectile that would work. it would be more of a projectile than a continuous effect.
Does the storm aura do anything to oncoming projectiles?
No, it doesn't. That's one of the trade-offs compared to the air shield. While the air shield would decrease the damage you took, the storm aura does not.
All right, any other storm questions, or since this is the last one, any other questions about metal, plants, lightning? After those kinds of questions, then we'll move on to more general category as a whole type things. But while Rory is in the game, is there anything else people want to see? And I'm not going to go through the entire sub-element again, but like if there's one particular question about something or another. If you missed part of this, it will be on our YouTube later. While we're on topic of sub-elements, are there any moves planned for other sub-elements based on community feedback so far?
So things like expanding the existing sub-elements by adding more moves.
I think that and adding additional sub-elements like the ones that did not pass the polls previously.
Yeah. So I don't have a clear answer to this, but the answer is it depends. If this is a popular request, and a lot of people think that this sub-element is underwhelming, it could really use some more stuff, or I really wish this new sub-element existed and it only barely lost the poll, then yeah, I could see that happening. The condition here is that I guess how long we develop elements for depends on the popularity of the game and how well it can do after release and like on the holiday sales. And adding new sub-elements, while that's an amazing thing that I'd love to do, it also does take a lot of time. So it's the kind of thing that I can't definitely promise that we'll add like another 4 or 8 more sub-elements beyond the ones that I was showing off today, because that would take a lot of months. And it depends on how popular the game ends up being, how long we can work on it. But yeah, for sure, the existing sub-elements, if any of them are not up to par with the others, then we will add moves or polish them until they are.
I think it would be good to say, and probably if we do decide to add additional moves to existing sub-elements, it probably won't happen until after all 8 are out. Because I've seen a variety of comments on that, like, Spirit needs more, Explosion needs more, or whatever. Until we know what the entire balance is, it would maybe not be super great to add a bunch of moves now, and that's like, well, actually. But, yeah.
And, Spirit and Explosion, they totally could use more, because they don't have that much. On the other hand, Spirit's moves are, like, really game-changing. Being able to just turn into a Spirit and fly around, or, like, literally being able to teleport. Those have a much bigger impact than, like, a single new move in another element would. Explosion, it's just cool. I like explosions. It feels like it's already a great sub-element with only 3, in my opinion. Just so fun to use.
Can you break projectiles with the Storm Lightning Beam?
Yes, you can. It has 3 might, so it'll break things with 4 might or less.
Specifically about Metal Whip involving knockout mode. Would the Metal Whip's pole override the knockback?
The knockback should override the pole, and that is meant to be something that is common across all moves, including like the water tentacles and water drops and so on. If you're hit by a very powerful attack during knockback mode, those moves will be very briefly disabled until the knockback is done.
Some questions on, and I've seen it in Discord over the last few days too, will there be ultimates or techniques specific to sub-elements?
So I want ultimates and techniques to all be categorized with the base element, with the idea that you would be able to mix and match ultimates and techniques with any subelement from that element. For example, with explosion, I can equip the blue fire technique, and then I get blue explosions. Which is cool. I like blue explosions. They're flashy. So I want people to have that level of creativity and freedom when you're combining things. So I don't want things to be locked, but I do want there to be options. So what I could imagine is, for example, if we look at fire, it's got the lightning bolt ultimate and it's got the fire pillar ultimate. I could imagine there being 2 new ultimates, maybe another base fire themed ultimate, then maybe an explosion themed ultimate. So that in total there'd be 2 ultimates themed after the base element, and then maybe 1 ultimate themed after each sub-element. But you'd be able to mix and match them and combine any ultimate with any sub-element version. We don't have these built yet, so they wouldn't be coming soon. But if people are excited about new ultimates, that's something we can add to the roadmap.
And on the topic of techniques, right now there is 1 element that has 1 more technique than the rest of them.
Yes. I think it would be cool to give earth, water, and air techniques that are like as flashy as blue fire. For example, I am imagining a kind of a green crystal earth technique that changes all of your earth moves to be like a cool glowing green crystal. And similar to blue fire, would be recoloring and changing the existing moves, but not adding new moves necessarily. But maybe it affects how they behave. Again, that's something where if there's a lot of support for it, we can add that to the roadmap, but I don't have them built to show off right now.
Which sub-element was difficult to come up with a concept for, or which sub-element did you have a concept for and was sad when the community didn't pick it in the polls?
Ooh, those are hard. Yeah. So the one that was hardest to come up with a concept for, those are probably plants and storm. Plants, because there's a lot of things you can do with plants, and it wasn't sure what the best ones to do were. Like, we used to have a plant wall type move that then got replaced by this turret. This whole vine trail was something that came somewhat later in development, once we realized that, wait, we actually have the technology to do this. These bombs were just an idea that we had one day, and we're like, oh, this would be cool. While Storm went through a lot of different versions with different types of storm clouds that would work in different ways. That one was hard to get balanced and feeling fair. As for the flip side of that, ideas that we had that I was excited about that the community didn't vote for, my favorite is probably smoke as a sub-element for air. I think smoke that has moves that can like blind enemies or turn you invisible could be really cool. But, well, it didn't win the poll, and while I had some ideas, I didn't have enough ideas that I was super confident about it as a sub-element. Because, like, what really does smoke do that's different from air? It's just smoke.
How does it damage you? Besides lung damage.
Yeah, lung damage is an interesting mechanic. Maybe not even the poison effect. So if we have the time and ability to add more sub-elements in the future, we have plenty of ideas to go to, whether that's smoke or whether that's like sand bending or that kind of stuff. I still have all my design documents with a bunch of ideas that are unused.
What first inspired you to start making sub-elements? People screamed at us until we did it.
Pretty much. That's the main feedback that we've gotten ever since launch of like, we want sub-elements, please give us sub-elements. And, well, we listened and here they are.
Someone said smoke for a gray-black air technique.
Wait, hold up, that's kind of cool. We should do that.
Already putting that story, going to go right down.
Yeah, okay, let me write that one down. I'll end the screen here.
All right, credit to Mitch Epp. Or, yeah.
And then it could give you like invisibility or blinding effects, but like maybe reduce damage. Or reduced knockback, that could work. All right. Yeah, I gotta take some notes here.
Someone said make the water recolor technique rubber.
No, that's the punch bending recolor technique.
Could you see an expansion on punch/swords in the future?
Well, that's possible. I am going to give that lower priority than the actual elements. Yeah, the game is called Elements Divided. It's not Swords Divided.
Punch Simulator. Go play Dragon Fist. Great game.
The punches and swords are meant to be backup options. And if we expanded them so that they were cool and fun to use on their own, then they wouldn't be backup options anymore. They'd just be new elements. And that's not really what the game's meant to be.
Okay, so I think that's oh yeah, sorry. Handsome.
Yeah, and to expand on that a bit, swords are cool in part because they're really hard to use. So, like, if you ever win a match with the swords, that is massive bragging rights. If we made the swords easy to use and balanced against the other elements, well, there goes those bragging rights.
Okay. So, thank you for all your questions so far, primarily on sub-elements and watching the sub-element showcase. Again, if you missed it or missed any part of it, we'll be, we've been recording this and it'll go up on our YouTube probably tomorrow. So let's go into more kind of general questions. I know some were posted earlier, and I apologize, I couldn't really redirect focus there at the time. If you want to repost them, go for it. Let's start with, do you have plans to expand the PvE aspects of the game, or is PvP going to remain the main draw?
Yeah, the deep lore here is that back when we first started working on Elements, we actually thought that Elements would be best as a co-op game, and we started development with that in mind. And then we realized the co-op was struggling a little bit, and that when we implemented PvP, we started having more fun there. And we pivoted development to then focus on PvP for the future. And I think that's also true in the current version of our game. Most people are having more fun in the PvP modes than in the co-op modes. So I think I want to focus on the part where the game is the most fun and where people are playing it the most. So probably going to focus on PvP for the future.
On the same vein, are you planning on making more co-op levels? Possibly. There are new maps coming, and there's some already out that don't currently have a co-op mission associated with them. Those might get their own co-op mission at some point.
Yeah, and just earlier today, the development team was talking about different game mode options, and one of the ones that we wanted to add was a boss rush game mode. And I think that would be amazing on one of these new maps.
Mm-hmm. This one might be boring for most people, but how does stasis work underneath the hood? I know a lot of us have a feel for it, but not really a proper understanding of what goes on behind the scenes for it.
Mm-hmm. So when you're grabbing an object, say you're grabbing an earth boulder, the game is constantly applying forces to bring the boulder back towards the position where your hand is. If anything pushes the boulder away from where the cursor position is, then it will slowly return as those forces manage to push the boulder back to the intended position. It doesn't return instantly because you shouldn't be able to just instantly teleport boulders across a battlefield. The forces making it gradual and over time mean that the boulders always have reasonable movement. But stasis happens when instead of an enemy or some weird environment effect pushes the boulder away from that position, it's when you yourself push the boulder away from the target position, usually by grabbing it with your other hand and throwing it forwards. Then the boulder is far away from where it's supposed to be, but it's still trying to return to where it is supposed to be. So you still have the ability to apply forces and control its movement as it's returning to where your hand actually is. It's entirely an unintended mechanic, but it was fun to use and might as well keep it in.
Aaron made a thread asking for ideas for new game modes. Were any considered in that thread?
Yes. So we actually were talking about that a lot with the rest of the development team earlier today. And Matt, do you think it'd be reasonable to put the top 3 things here as like a quick poll to gauge interest?
Sure.
Yeah. So the top 3 ideas that came out of that were a capture the flag mode. So there's 2 teams. Each team has a flag. Your goal is to take the enemy team's flag and bring it back to your base. But the twist is that while you're holding the enemy's team's flag, you can't use any elemental abilities. So your team has to protect you during that time. Second mode, King of the Hill. There are again 2 teams, and they're fighting over the control point in the center of the map. Once a team has captured the control point, if they can hold on to it for a long enough period of time, then they win the match. So it's a whole team battle centered around that one point in the middle. And the last game mode possibility was a kind of team infection game mode. Again, there's 2 teams, but whenever you kill a player on the enemy team, they join your team. So then it becomes kind of a tug of war of each team trying to defeat enemy players and bolster your numbers until eventually one team is totally gone. So yeah, I'm curious of those. I'll just put these as a quick poll in the chat here. What are you most interested in? Between capture the flag, King of the Hill, and team infection. Yeah, I'm curious what people think.
Well, that's going. I've been reminded map previews. Maybe you can go over those quickly.
Sure. So yeah, while people are voting, I have some new maps to show off that our level designer's been working a lot on. And 2 of these are coming very soon, actually. Well, 2 of them are coming in January. So the ones that are coming soon, I'll start with the maybe less interesting one. Is my stream working?
Yep.
All right. This is the Portal Mayhem map. It's a large open space, similar to chessboard, except that the twist is that there are portals on each corner. If you step into a portal, you appear at the opposite portal across the diagonal. And there are actual portal graphics, they just don't appear in this preview. There's some power applications around the center, around the edges, a control point in the center, standard stuff. This is meant to be a relatively straightforward map that's an alternative to chessboard. I know everyone loves chessboard, so I decided, let's just make more maps that are kind of like chessboard, so that if you want the feeling of chessboard, but also want some variety, you can play maps like this instead. So yeah, this is Portal Mayhem. The other map that's coming very soon is Torii Shrine. So Torii Shrine is kind of the opposite approach. The graphics are a bit messed up here. It's not... Okay, whatever. I'll debug that a bit. Ignore the water being weirdly white speckled. It's supposed to look like normal water, just this preview's wrong. This is a map that we designed focused more on the visuals. You can see there's lots of trees and stuff, very high detail, bushes and vegetation all around, and paths that you can go up. You can go up here, go through this gate, across the lake. And yeah, if I go to, let's say, a better quality setting to get a sense of what it would really look like on PC, yeah, here's what the visuals are more supposed to be.
Oh, the cherry
I think it looks really neat. I like the trees. Was it?
I said I love a good cherry blossom.
Yeah. So this is definitely not a chessboard style map. It's going to be a lot more complicated to move around. But there is at least an open spot in the center for fighting for people who want that. Max, should I give previews of the other maps that are coming later or save those for another day?
I think you can get previews of them. They're at similar points in development.
Sure. And yeah, next one on the list. This is probably coming January. Pharaoh's Fortress. This is meant to be another simpler chessboard style map, where, again, if people want the kind of flat, simple chessboard style map for fair PvP fights, you can go here instead of chessboard and you'll have a bit more variety. This map actually feels a lot bigger than it looks. It is somewhat larger than chessboard. And then there's also this ring around the outside that can give you a little bit of a height advantage on people in the middle. Yeah. There's some particle effects for fire that aren't playing in this preview, but it's meant to be a very straightforward, flat, open map. Last one is what's it going to be Colosseum here? Yeah. This map is one that is unsure. In testing, it's been kind of mixed, and there's a good chance that we'll replace this with a different map. It's also meant to be a more open map, kind of like chessboard, where it's fair for PvP and very easy to fight people. But instead of being totally flat, it's a much more interesting shape with different benches and rows you can go up and down on. Now, I have to say that this one is probably not going to make the cut and will probably be replaced by a different map instead, because these benches ended up having kind of weird colliders that made it not work out so well in practice. And we're going to try to fix those. If we can't fix them, we're going to have a different map that releases instead of this one.
And that's why the roadmap said TBA, because we weren't 100% on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Will the timer ever be made semi-transparent?
Yeah, I want to do that. I especially think that this central part should be transparent, even if the outer rings aren't. So I could imagine this or a transparent version of this if I just do a quick. Well, yeah, I want it to be transparent. It would be better that way. Transparency is a bit more difficult on Quest than it sounds. So something as simple as this would need more manual work to finish it, but it could turn into something that looks a little bit like this in the end.
Someone pointed out you have an error in your console.
Yep. That is the Meta SDK trying to welcome me to using Meta's SDK and getting confused as to how to do that. It's fine.
Will flamethrowers ever be cancelable immediately after letting go of triggers? Please.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's on our roadmap and we just haven't gotten around to it yet. I think that will be added as a setting. I don't want it to be on for everyone by default because I've seen a good number of players who are new to the game not understand how flamethrower work with when it was cancelable by immediately releasing the trigger, and then they just couldn't use the flamethrower, and then they couldn't even beat the tutorial, and then they weren't having a good time. But for players who do understand how it works and do want it to be immediately cancelable, yeah, I can add the setting.
Do the portals in Portal Mayhem transport projectiles as well?
They should, yes.
That won't be confusing at all. A self-destruct move for an explosion ultimate would be cool. It leaves you on a slither of health, but also leaves opponents on the same area. The attack is shown on the... Okay, big explosion, you almost die.
Yeah, I like it. I might even say, hey, let's make that even more overpowered. You don't even die. You just explode and you don't take any damage and everyone near you dies.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's an ultimate move. It's gotta be ultimate.
Yeah. Will you guys ever add any new soundtracks? I think some more songs that make it feel more intense would be nice. There is a limit to how many songs we can have because of file size, and there's a lot of hub world casual songs right now that are taking up space. Talking about intense music, I assume you mean more tracks while you're in a battle. That's probably technically possible, but it's hard to find ones that match the same vibes as the other ones we already have.
In an earlier version of the game, we used to have all of the battle music be like this awesome heavy metal music, but then the other developers convinced me to not, and I'm still kind of sad that we don't have heavy metal in every battle. I like the metal.
It didn't really make sense.
But it was fun.
Would you ever consider maybe raising the kill ceiling for aerial players? I'd argue y'all already spend way too much time in the air as it is, Rory.
Kind of agree with Mac there. Flight is cool. Infinite flight is not cool. There's got to be some limits here.
I keep accidentally using blood laser. Please make it cancelable.
But that might make it overpowered. I could be cancelable. Blood is already the most popular sub-element, so buffing it could make it overpowered.
Why is it called Portal Mayhem if the portal placements seem like really tame?
It's just a name. We could call it like Portal Flatlands.
I'd argue the mayhem comes from the fact that everyone's going to be teleporting all over the place and throwing things through opposite corners, but...
Ooh, imagine what a spirit player could do with that. Throw a scythe in the air above you, teleport to the opposite side of the map, attack someone, and then the scythe lands and you come back.
Do you guys have any plans on adding official lore to the game besides the niche PDF page already out there?
That kind of relates to the co-op mode. I think games with co-op where you fight a bunch of enemies and go through a bunch of missions are a natural kind of game to have a lot of detailed lore for. A game that's all about fighting other players in a tournament maybe doesn't need as much story in order to explain why there's a tournament. So if we have to choose between do we make the game better to play or do we add story, I'm going to focus on making the game better to play.
When will the glorious king of all moves named Fire Spear come back to the game?
Well, what is the glorious king of all moves to one player is a terrible, immersion-breaking, useless move to another. I think Fire Spear was cool in a lot of ways, but it also had problems. I'd say it still exists in a couple ways, in that the air sword is very similar to it, and the fire javelin is very similar to it. But if you're talking about the version of the spear that was also kind of a mix of the fire whips and the air sword, that one probably isn't coming back. It had performance and balance issues, and yeah, it was always kind of janky. But I could see new spear moves existing to replace it, as long as they aren't exactly the same.
I know the game is called Elements Divided, but I'll ask anyway, since the game mode that uses every element at once exists, do you have any interest in expanding the user of multiple elements at once further than what has already been implemented?
I could see that being an interesting alternate game mode. That's not the main game, because the main game is kind of already set with everyone having one element. But if you have a suggestion for an alternate game mode that has, well, a mix of elements and a way to make that balanced and fun to use, please let us know.
Are you guys going to do a Christmas thing?
Yes, we are. We've got some cool Christmas cosmetics lined up that we will release when it is time. And I also have some fun ideas for a map update to make the whole map feel a lot more Christmassy.
Make the portals have random outputs.
I was thinking about that, where the portals could send you to random other portals. But, like,
It's got 9 upvotes.
really, I mean, if this is a popular idea, I'll do that. I thought this would have, like, I thought people wouldn't like that. Because if you go through a portal and you don't know where you're going to come out, how do you use that in a fight?
Mm. Someone suggested the name Portal Pandemonium.
It's a cool name. I like the name. Yeah, if the portals actually having random outputs instead of predictable ones is popular, I could do that. I'm surprised it's a popular idea.
What if there was a game mode where you can only use sub-elements and not a single move from a base element?
That'd be pretty hard to balance. Because the sub-elements aren't equal in terms of the number of moves they get or how their specific moves are balanced against each other. Take Spirit as an example. Spirit only has one good attacking move, the Spirit Bolt. A game mode where you can only really use one attacking move might not be super fun to play. It would bias the elements, would bias people towards the sub-elements that have a lot more variety.
What about the community making lore? It could be something simple like pages scattered that could be collected and tell a basic story. Could give a bit of depth to the game without taking too much development resources.
I'd be on board with that. The challenge there is that even things that sound basic maybe always aren't basic under the hood once you have to program it. For example, collecting the pages, sure, but then building the whole UI to read them and integrating that UI into the pause menu and making it easy to understand with all the buttons you need to like select the different pages and see which ones you've collected and which ones you still need to get. Maybe the UI is the harder part there. I could see it happening though. It'd be fun. So yeah, if you have a lore to write up, definitely do that. Send it to us.
If I don't see Santa stuck in a chimney in Quadrant Snow section, I am uninstalling.
Okay, that's a good idea. Gotta write this down.
Like
Santa stuck in chimney. We've got some Santa models we can use. Yeah.
A game mode where you change elements when you die.
One of the game modes that we had been considering was actually a mode where you change elements whenever you kill someone. The challenge there is, what about people who are like masters of one element? If you join a lobby and the lobby is like, oh, we really want to do this element changing mode, and you're like, no, I only use earth. Are you just going to be stuck using a bunch of elements you don't want?
Mm.
It could happen, but it might not be the most fun experience for some people. Yeah, I see a comment, Elements Gun Game. That is exactly what we were thinking, but it didn't quite make the top 3.
Magikarp is saying we already have lore from him, which is true. We do. It's canon, even Rory says so. Yeah, it is technically canon. The hard part is integrating the actual mechanics to picking up pages and showing them in UI and all that, like Rory was saying. All right. Let's see. How about a real training area with enemies that fight back, or maps that have parkour, or maybe flight related?
Enemies that fight back in a training area would be great. It's something that we've wanted to do for a little while, but it's never quite hit the top of the priority list. Now that sub-elements are just about done, though, that could be the next thing that we add, or at least a big thing on our roadmap. If that's a popular suggestion, definitely we'll add it. As for maps with parkour, that's a lot harder to balance when you have Earth players and Air players on the same map. Not sure how to make that fair.
Plans for an April Fool's update.
You'll have to see.
You should have all the animals have Christmas hat except the bat. It knows what it did. LOL.
What did the bat do?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll put hats on everything. It's a neat idea. We've done we've done it before in Superfly. It's probably not impossible. Just a little time consuming because you have to go to all the individual things. Yeah, maybe. Can we hold lava shuriken with one hand, please?
I think that would be a reasonable change to make. Lava is actually the least popular sub-element right now, and I could definitely see lava getting some quality of life improvements like that.
Will tornado and wave/ice wall stasis be nerfed?
So we do regular balance threads to get community feedback on the things that are currently overpowered in the game. I am hesitant to nerf cool techniques, including stasis even, unless there's a lot of community support behind it. So we are going to keep doing these balance threads, and if this nerfing them is a popular suggestion in the balance threads, then yeah, we'll do that.
Would a customizable training dummy be possible, similar to Smash Bros. Training mode?
To an extent, yes. Again, the hard part is often the UI, where actually implementing the settings, like maybe making it attack you or making it walk back and forth, aren't that hard. But making an easy to use and performant UI with all of those buttons is a lot harder than it sounds. The settings menus were like the hardest parts of the UI to build out of anything. And it doesn't sound like they should be, but they were. Settings are strangely complicated. But I could also see how that target dummy would be a really useful thing to have, so it could be worth the effort.
I like the explosions for movement, but it feels kind of underwhelming as an attack. So it could be cool if a fully charged explosion would have longer range while doing the same amount of damage or more, but as a drawback, it exhausts you or something. Just an idea.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It feels underwhelming as an attack, even though it is very fun for movement. I am worried that buffing it makes it too strong. Explosion is one of the most popular sub-elements. It's only behind Blood right now. And it is that popular despite only having 3 moves, and despite things like the Explosion Blast not doing a ton of damage. Because the things that Explosion can do, it is very, very good at. So when it's already this popular and this strong, further buffing it could make it unbalanced, even though buffing it further would make it more fun. Trying to figure out the right way to balance making it more fun versus not making it too powerful compared to everything else.
Let us spin Lava Shuriken in our hands to charge it up.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm totally down for that. What would a charged Lava Shuriken do that would be stronger than the base one?
I don't know. Will you ever be able to stasis Lava Shuriken?
Maybe not. Probably not. It doesn't quite fit.
Instead of putting Christmas hat on all animals, just put a big one on the chicken boss. That'd be fun.
Ooh, yes. Okay, gotta note that
really
one down.
Big hat.
Christmas hat on chicken boss.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna keep getting asked. Rory, what do you think about @Orphan Obliterator? First time asking, I swear, from @Orphan Obliterator.
Never heard of that guy. Who is he? There's definitely not a technique named after him or anything.
Can you pretty please, with Cherry, replace all the songs with Goofy Fonk for April Fools? I have no idea what that is.
I don't know about that one.
Something about adding an electricity sub-element for fire, but it also says lightning's already a thing, so it could be a spin-off of lightning. We already have not one, but two different sub-elements that have lightning in them. I feel like going for three that's a lot of electricity-based sub-elements.
Okay, but what if we add like magnets as a sub-element for Earth that has lightning attacks?
Magnets. Do magnets make electricity like that?
Yeah, they do. It's the electromagnetic force. Electricity and magnetism are kind of the same thing.
Oh, okay.
If you spin a magnet, then you get an electric charge.
Make another boss in the lobby, maybe a sea creature / Leviathan at the big lake in the center map by triggering a similar sea animal and it has water bending.
Yes, and that's I think according to the lore, that would be like the Mac boss, right?
Something like that, yeah. What if for April Fools you made a game mode where everyone is the Ascended Master?
You know, getting a lot of good ideas here. That would be a lot of fun.
Will you be able to hold weapons one hand? Well, there's only one weapon right now, and it's a sword.
Unless you mean like the air sword and the earth hammer?
I don't know. Can we add co-op enemies that can use stasis for April Fools?
Co-op? That would be cruel. An enemy earthbender that just punches boulders at you and then stasises them? No, I'm not that evil.
Or
Unless it was boss.
For Boston main lobby, what about a dragon? If you kill the dragon 5+ times.
What would happen if you kill the dragon?
It would summon the dragon.
Oh. I could see that happening. We did have a dragon boss in Superfly, so I could take some ideas from that. I'm curious how people feel about bosses in the main lobby, though. Because I've seen some people having a lot of fun fighting the chickens, but I've also heard people maybe sometimes not having fun when the chickens summon, but you're busy with something else.
Reverse Ascended Master, where everyone bullies the one person with one element.
Yep, sounds perfectly fair. Let's see if we were able to defeat Capcom.
Hey, I killed Capcom earlier today. I don't know what you're talking about.
Allegedly.
It's on camera. It's on their YouTube channel. Got proof. Got the receipts. What if you guys added a new base element, and what would it be? Are there any more classical elements?
Well, it depends on where you go. If you're following like a Western tradition, you could add like a void or ether element, which is sometimes added onto the base 4. If you're following like the Chinese elements, then we could have like metal and wood as base elements instead of as sub-elements. But yeah, Elements Divided is really a game about the 4 classical elements, not about the 5 classical elements. The closest we ever got to adding a 5th element was we were testing a weapons element back when the game was very, very early. That had like a sword and a bow and a spear. But it ended up not making the cut because it wasn't as cool compared to the others.
Updated response about the one-handed weapons. Yes, they do mean the air sword and earth hammer one-handed.
Yeah, those moves are only really balanced as two-handed moves. An air sword that you could wield one-handed but still have that mobility would be pretty overpowered. Now, there are some other weapon type moves that you can use in one hand, like the fire daggers, the water daggers, and so on. But it's a case-by-case basis on, is this weapon going to be balanced and fair to use as a two-handed move, or is it going to be balanced and fair to use as a one-handed move? and what fits the control scheme better.
An option to toggle moves on and off so I can stop summoning Earthhammer.
I could see that being added. Yeah, if it was a popular suggestion, then yeah. If this is a common problem, then I would rather fix it by fixing the controls for everyone than by adding settings to let some people turn it off. Because if you're running into this problem, then probably a bunch of people are running into this problem, and you shouldn't really have to change the game settings to have a good experience. But if we can't find a way to fix the controls, then the setting does sound like a good backup.
Can you reskin the moves to be animals for April Fools? That'd be cool. Instead of picking up a boulder, you pick up like a zebra.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun. It's way too hard to do, though. We have over 100 moves. Reskinning them all for one day is...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like implementing it.
Magnetized Earth technique thoughts.
Maybe. For an Earth technique, I'm imagining a green crystal Earth technique is the next one I'd want to add. But magnets could also be cool.
Add heavy metal songs in place of the peaceful lobby music for April Fools.
Yeah, see, I fully support that.
I mean, for April Fools, yeah, sure.
Oh, let's go. Okay, let's do this.
Will Accident Master have sub-elements? I'm assuming you meant Ascendant Master. Ascendant Master does have sub-elements. I believe it's whatever ones you had equipped.
The Accident Master won't, though. He's still recovering.
Do you know how popular the game is?
I mean, we have numbers on that. Like, we know how many copies we're selling. We know how many people are playing. We're not the biggest VR game out there, but we're bigger than a lot of them. And yeah, we have thousands and thousands of people playing every day. So there are a lot of people playing the game right now. And when we went to full release, and with the supplements coming out, there was a massive spike in the number of people playing the game and buying the game. So right now, I think the game is more popular than ever in terms of the number of people playing it every day.
Could you let us fight in team battles in the main lobby? I would love to see games fight in the lobby map.
Team battles in the main lobby. So like using the hub world as a map instead of the smaller maps for the actual stages?
Yep.
I mean, that's technically feasible and not that hard if it's reusing a map. I suppose for an 8-player match, that kind of larger map might feel better. It would be a little bit less chaotic. Harder to move around, though. Ooh, maybe that'd be good for Capture the Flag.
Yeah. Have you ever considered altering currently existing techniques? Some of them feel like must-picks, others feel like they'll never be used, and some feel unfun to fight against even if they aren't strong.
Absolutely. So I want to constantly make changes that improve the balance and feel of the game, and altering techniques is an important part of that. If you have suggestions for how you want the techniques to change, and if these are popular suggestions in the community, then yeah, I'll totally change them. Some of the recent changes we made, for example, were like buffing the Healing Blows water technique that wasn't used very often, as well as nerfing, which one was it? The ice one, I think, Absolute Zero. But we'll keep doing that as long as we get feedback on which directions they should go.
Why did the explosion bow go from looking cool and like the other explosion moves to weird, bright yellow and red and looking untextured?
That was a change that we made in order to try to make it stand out more. Oh, that's my cat joining the Q&A. Shadow's saying hi to everyone, by the way. The change to the explosion bow was made to make it stand out more from the fire bow, as well as to make it somewhat more flashy than, well, just the basic kind of fiery colors. And with the idea that hopefully it would look cooler the way it does now. You know? Maybe it doesn't look cooler the way it does now. That's a subjective thing. I mean, people could disagree on which version you prefer. But if there are a lot of people who like the older version more, that had maybe less contrasting colors, then we could change it back.
Remove all source textures on April Fools. Just make everything one color.
Yes, the entire game will be. Let's go with pink. Pink sounds nice.
Yeah, you gotta have it be like the missing texture pink, because everyone thinks the game's broken.
Yep. Oh, I know what we should do for April Fools.
What?
Top mode.
Top mode. Would you just turn off the display? Rory,
Make everything black. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you like smack something on the ground, do you see the echo waves go out?
No, but you can hear it with spatial audio.
I can't hear spatial audio, Rory. I'm basically deaf in my left ear.
I mean, so it might be hard for you, but you know.
Oh yeah.
People do play.
Can you make the platypus constantly be in the state of parrying?
It's constant parrying. Why was the platypus? Wait, oh, I get. No.
Took you a second.
Mac bam.
Like the one opportunity.
People are asking to see the cat. Shadow.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at the camera? Shadow.
There's Shadow. Shadow is a lady, I believe.
Yep. She is also typing in chat right now.
Yeah, she does that.
Very friendly cat.
She likes to scream. What element does your cat mean?
Shadow. I think Shadow means water. She keeps screaming at me to give her water.
Since we're stuck on April Fools, make a chicken boss spawn in every match when it starts. Force everyone into using only the sword. Have your cat's meows play constantly. All lobby animals shoot laser balls at the players. Starting a match changes the game mode into one punch, and any damage instantly kills you.
That's a very long list of changes that I'm sure will make the game a wonderful experience to play.
I like the lobby animals shooting laser balls. That's funny.
Oh, when you kill them instead of dying, they fight back.
From Orphan, wait, this exact same thing has happened in a previous Q&A, I swear. And then from Cap, last time Kitty typed out DFCCCCCCCCCCC, it goes on. He copy pasted the exact message that she previously sent.
Yeah. Shadow typed out a message but didn't send it, so I'll just hit enter so you guys can see what she was trying to say.
Wow. Amazing. Oh no, the animals are proactive in that suggestion. They want revenge for all the times they were killed. Oh, so you just walk up to any of the animals and start shooting.
Ooh, the animals start walking up to you and shooting.
Oh no!
No matter where you are in the world, you're not safe. They're all coming for you.
For April Fools, can we add lore pages that are just all the random things Shadow typed?
Yes. Right, Shadow.
On merch when, in response to the message Shadow just typed out.
Shadow, do you want your words to be on merch?
I mean, I can make it
No
happen
response.
technically, but I'm not sure that anyone would understand it except for the people who are here exactly right now. When are you adding Gort? And when you do, you should make him kill whoever hits him. Gort is already in the game. Go find him. He does not kill you, though.
He should.
Yeah.
We need to make Gort more powerful.
Yeah, additional context to the animals. I was thinking less walking, more floating ominously when players exist in the main lobby.
Animals floating ominously sounds nice.
For April Fools, can we have your cat as the sun? Like a Teletubbies, but cat face.
Just giant cat head in the sky, yeah.
Weeping angel animals? Oh, that's terrifying.
Ooh, yes. Okay. I'm writing that one down.
Like, I swear they don't move, and you're looking at them, it's like, they're not moving, bro. And they turn around, you're like, fuck, it's
yeah.
That's great. Can Gort be a really, really, really hard boss? Just
he could work
jiggles around.
Yeah, I think the harder part is maybe implementing any kind of animations on that. It's yeah, a giant Gort chasing you would just be a circle. Let's do like roll.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of animations for it. We did not make Gort. Someone else did, so. Make the cat into a pet and her legal owner be the fire mage lady.
And you have to kill the fire mage boss and impossible to unlock the cat as pet.
Mm-hmm. All right, so at this point, we've been here for almost 2 hours, a little bit shy of, and that's usually about the maximum limit for how long we have these things go. So, you got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more minutes of us. So if you have any burning questions or things we missed, now's your time.
Yeah. And priority to more serious questions. The silly ones are fun, but I want to make sure everyone's had a chance to have any important things answered.
When are sub-elements being shown? Buddy, I think you're a little late. You'll have to watch the recording later. Are there plans for bhaptic support after sub-elements fully release?
Yeah, I do have some bhaptics gear that they sent me, but haven't gotten around to implementing it. Sub-elements took priority when they were a thing. But yeah, I think that would be a good thing for me to add support for now. Right, Chad?
On a slightly related note of alternative controls and things of VR headsets, we are planning to add hand tracking. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be exclusive to Quest headsets, but the game should be fully playable with only your hands once that comes out.
Have you thought of taking community cosmetic concept arts for things such as arms, torso, legs, etc.? In terms of just taking concepts, I mean, if people post suggestions, we look at them. Sometimes it might make it into things, sometimes not. In a slightly related note, there was one person who has not been around as much recently who did want to make, like, actually model parts, but I don't think they ever got finished. If you have suggestions, feel free to post them, but I can't guarantee that will make that thing.
Yeah, it takes a long time to add the parts because it's not just making the model, it's making the model, splitting it into modular parts, making different versions for male and female characters, making sure that they're UV mapped in a way that works with every shader in the game, making sure that they're rigged and animated in a way that works with every kind of pose you might be in the game, and more. So it can take a lot of time to get a single character set done. We are working on more right now, but it's been taking longer than we'd hoped.
Can you adjust the distance needed to go into spirit form? I sometimes accidentally go into it when trying to make an airball.
The just activate it. I could see that being a change. Yeah, I'm worried about changing it too much because right now it matches the air sword. So if it became different than the air sword, that could be unintuitive. Yeah, if that's a popular suggestion, I can implement it.
Add more back cosmetics. I want to cosplay Gabriel.
We are actively working on adding more and more cosmetic options.
How far in the
and there's more
future?
coming out.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Yeah. If we get them done in time, they'll be coming out before the end of the year. If not, it'll be early next year.
How far in the future is hand tracking expected?
Some of it depends on, I guess, other people's schedules. But the current plan would be the full release of hand tracking would be either March or April of next year.
All right. I'm gonna pick. Okay, so there's a 1 minute slowdown. So I'm gonna wait 1 minute, and I'm gonna pick one more question, so everyone has a chance to get their typings out. So for us it's 6 o'clock. So at 6:02, I will pick another question, and that will be the last one. Yes, there is a slow mode. Staff is immune. So 30 seconds. For 15 seconds, and I'm gonna pick a thing. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Multiple people typing. Come on, finish it. Send it. Send it. Come on. Random type. Don't randomly type. That's okay. I'm just gonna pick something. Do. Do. Sorry, do that. Trying to think. Someone said don't pick a staff question, but I'm gonna probably pick a staff question because most of these are most of these are not questions.
And some of them we've answered before. In that, if you find the recording for this on our YouTube channel, where it will be posted shortly, then yeah, you can see the full previews of all the new set elements and all of our answers to questions that were asked previously.
I'm going to go for, is there any big content updates planned now that sub elements are done? Or, about to be done? Yeah.
So the short version of that is our next updates are in the roadmap that we shared in announcements. First, later this month, we're adding 2 new maps. Then in December, we're adding the remaining 4 sub-elements. We're also going to be adding a bunch of winter cosmetics, having a winter map update, a whole Christmas update theme stuff. And then in January, we're adding even more new maps. But I'm assuming that this question is asking, what are we going to do even after that? Well, it depends. And in part, it depends on you guys. The reason for that is, while we want to develop elements as long as we can, the key there is as long as we can, because we have to make enough money to keep supporting the company so that we can keep, paying people to build the game. And this holiday season, and especially this holiday season when it's right after full release and right as we're adding all the cool new sub-elements, is going to be a pretty important time for the company in terms of sales. And the best way that you can help us make more sales, share the game with more people, and really keep this game having a long and alive future is to tell more people about it. So we're running a video creation contest where you can make videos about the game, share them to the world, and even win prizes as part of that. So if you can do things like that and help get more people to know about Elements Divided and play the game, that will give us more ability to keep developing the game for longer and add big new content updates. As for what those would be, if we have the ability to make them, I definitely want to add more sub-elements. I definitely want to add ultimates for every sub-element, and more techniques to round them out to be even between all the elements. Beyond that, and I should say also more game modes. I've posted some above. Beyond that, I'm also curious what all of you guys think the next biggest thing should be. Because we mentioned it earlier, the biggest piece of feedback we always got since the game came out was that everyone wanted sub-elements. Well, we have those now. So with the biggest piece of community feedback out of the way, I'm going to be keeping a very careful eye open for what is the next big thing that everyone is asking for. And whatever that next big thing is, I want to do my best to make it exist in the game.
Yeah. Add Jeff. Who's Jeff? Okay. Yeah. So I posted the link to the video contest in chat for anyone who wants it. And if you're watching this on the recording, the link will be in the description below this video, so you can click on it. And yeah, thanks everyone for coming, and for those of you especially, I think most of you were here at the beginning and stuck around pretty much this entire time. Thanks for listening to us yap for 2 hours. It's pretty cool. And yeah, have a great day. Any last comments, Rory?
Yeah, I appreciate all the questions from everyone and all the support. And I hope you're having a fun time with the new sub-elements. And I hope you'll have an even more fun time with the ones that are coming next month.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to click the button and it's going to kick you all out. So hopefully you're not typing, because, yep. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.